Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with a Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers Show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza.
More expensive than a dozen eggs. It's your host, SteelFlyers.
Thank you. That is the always championship co-host, Ronies.
NFL Championship weekend. We are one game away.
The Flyers are good, or no, bad, or wait, what?
Phantoms are climbing the standings.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Matt Canada's staying in Pittsburgh for the 2023 season? What?
Yeah, that was...
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SteelFlyers podcast.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you, Ronies, for being on.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. That's great. Listen, first of all, we would like to say huge thank you to all of you great listeners out there. We'd also like to say huge thank you to Spreaker.com. You can go to Spreaker.com and get your podcast put out to all of the podcasting platforms. That's right. We're talking about iHeart, Google, Amazon. You name it, it's there. All you have to do is sign up, get a free account, and then they have great packages that you can sign up for to get your podcast out there for every single platform. All you have to do is go to Spreaker.com, and when you do, you can go to any of your podcasting platforms, like Spotify, or iHeart, or Apple,
Pandora,
or Google, right, or Amazon, and type in SteelFlyers, and you'll get the podcast. And hey, thank you very much. So, big appreciation for that. Also, I'd like to say a big thank you to our sponsor, Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, type in the promo code SteelFlyers, and get 20% off. That's right. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But big thanks to manscaped.com for sponsorship of the SteelFlyers All Sports Network and the SteelFlyers podcast. Well, Ronies, what do you think? Let's dive into a little bit of the Flyers first.
Okay.
Why not, right?
Okay.
So, Sandstome is back in the lineup after a conditioning stint with the Phantoms, and Errsson was sent back down to the Phantoms.
Okay.
And there's a whole big load of reasons why that has to be the way that is.
Yeah, I think he was doing okay.
With waivers and all that other stuff
in
order to try to keep both of those goalies. However they had to do it is however they had to do it. And it's really kind of a shame, too, because Errsson, I believe, is the one that really should be here.
I think he did fairly well in his stint up,
I agree, 110%. And we talk about the Phantoms here in a little bit. We'll talk about Errsson a little bit some, too. But, I was not very impressed. Now, he played a few games down at the Phantoms, and he played okay down there. You know what I mean?
Errsson or Sandstome?
Sandstome, because he had a conditioning stint down there for 14 days. Right? So, at the end of the 14 days, and he played a couple games, and he was all right. I mean, he won a couple and he lost a couple. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And I agree with what Tortorella said. He said this after the game against, who did the Flyers play last?
The Jets?
Yeah, the Jets. He said after that game, because that was the game that Sandstrom came in and played, because it was on the other side of the back-to-back where Carter Hart started against Detroit and won that game.
Right.
So Sandstrom came in and played against the Jets, and man, the Jets just made a hard team look,
yeah.
Bad would be a word.
Yeah.
Minor league would be another word. Oh my gosh, man! Like they just skated around us like our guys weren't even there. You know what I mean? Now
this was a back-to-back, so they had played the night before?
The Flyers did, yes. But the Winnipeg Jets are also one of the best teams in Canada right now. You know what I mean? And have quite the lineup, quite the goaltender, which completely and utterly explains why the game was the way the game was and the score that it was. And, you know, when you go up against guys like Scheifele and Eberle and stuff like that, and the goaltending that the Jets have, and I mean, they're just on such a roll right now. They're one of the best teams in Canada, and you're just going to get run over by them. You know what I mean? Like, they're...
Do you think they've got a chance for the Stanley Cup?
Who, the Jets?
Yeah.
They'll be in the hunt. I mean, they'll be one of the teams in the West that'll come out of the West for sure. You know what I mean? Because you're going to see teams like probably Calgary's going to drop away. I don't think Ottawa's is going to be there, really. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I think you're going to see Dallas has been the surprise. LA has been the surprise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so has the Jets. They've been the surprise as well, too. So, I mean that's going to be between one of them 3 or 4 teams.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And Colorado.
Yeah.
Like, you got to throw Colorado in there no matter what because they're the defending champs.
Right.
And now that they've gotten some of their players back, they're like, hey, what do you know? 7-game win streak.
Hey,
just like that.
Surprise.
You know, surprise, surprise. But anyway. But I thought that Sandstome looked a little shaky coming back from his conditioning stint. Now, of course, you're playing against the Winnipeg Jets, so... and
that's not the best team to come back after being out.
And it's also the second half of a back-to-back, which Flyers have, historically, this season have been crappy. Let's just put it out there you know? Haven't won very many of them games. But anyway... So, alright. I have to tell you something here, folks. I'm really, really impressed with how Travis Konechny has responded to Tortorella.
Yeah, he seems to be having a good year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. He's on pace to have 40 goals this year.
That's great.
And over 80 points, which...
All right.
I'll take that all freaking day! I mean, you know, after somebody who hasn't been able to put up more than 50 points in the last 3 seasons.
Right,
okay.
total.
Right, yeah, okay, you know, somebody's supposed to be this offensive juggernaut. And I also got to tell you something else, too, who I've been really, really impressed with this year more than ever has been Sarge, and that's Scotty Lawton. Sarge, they call him Sarge. He's the only one with the letter on his jersey. He wears the A.
Okay.
I think he is captain material. Me and Lance, the host of Hockey Writers Inc. and also the host of Prospect Watch, we both agreed that Scotty Lawton would be a great captain for the Flyers. Because obviously Couturier is...
Not.
You know what I mean? You know, here's something else, too, that I want to also say as well, too. And this is something else that Lance and I talked about on our show, The Hockey Writers Inc., which you can check out. All you have to do is go to Hockey Writers Inc. From the SteelFlyers.com/link/Hockey Writers Inc. and check out the latest show and latest articles from the great Lance Green and Steel Flyers as we break down everything from the Flyers. And Kevin Hayes has been playing up to his contract.
It seems
finally!
Like as soon as he was named for, like, what is it, the All-Star team?
Yeah.
He I should start actually playing better. It kind of seemed like
it
that to me.
Does seem like that, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Like it just kicked in at the same time or something? I don't know.
Like, yeah, where's he? He went,
Or maybe we were missing it and everybody else saw it.
He went 16 games without a goal. Right, and then within a game or two or whatever of being named to the All-Stars, he started scoring again. Like, hey, all right. Then he gets a hat trick.
Well, that was a gift, so.
Okay, but first ever hat trick. I mean, he gets named to the All-Star and then scores a hat trick. And then
for the first time.
For the first ever, right? Plays almost 800 games. All right. So you mean to tell me that you're paying a guy $7.525 million a year, and that's only his first hat trick, and he's been playing now for that many years? Okay. Anyway, oh my gosh.
Hey, but you know what? We're glad to see some improvement, I guess. Do you think this that we've talked about, TK and now Hayes are starting to play better? And I know I'm gonna get a look, but I think I've heard the name Frost a few times.
Has been playing better too, yeah. But now, here's the thing, and this is something that we talked about too, even on the Hockey Writers Inc. show, the last one, where the perfect title: too bad to be good and too good to be bad. Because that perfectly explains the Flyers.
Stuck here in the middle.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean. Right here in the middle. Anyway, but that's exactly where they are, and there's nothing that nobody really can do other than get rid of the person that got us here in the first place.
He's still working.
And well, and that's how that is. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that any particular one. There has to be a number of different moves in order to fix this franchise, and just getting rid of the general manager is a start in the right direction. Instilling the right coach with Tortorella, I think, was a step in the right direction. Getting new leadership in the front office, whether it be ownership, whether it be general management, whether it be whatever, I think is another step in the right direction for the Flyers, because this team is not really going to, if they're just going to keep on keeping on and they're just going to stay.
Well, I've read briefly somewhere that the owners of the team are okay with that. They're okay with being in the middle, and they're not really concerned that, they have a winning team, that they just have one that's going to keep enough fans filling the seats and watching on TV, but don't really care if it's successful.
See, and that's becoming the issue with the Flyers. And when that becomes an issue, it's not necessarily the fans. It's more the sponsors.
Okay.
Because now sponsors are like, well, you're not really, you know what I mean? Like, you're just staying, the same, you know what I mean? You're not really getting any better, and...
Right.
Let me tell you a little secret about something, okay? The NHL playoffs is all ownership, straight ownership money. Meaning that during the regular season, it's all shared amongst all the teams throughout the regular season and blah, blah, blah. Once the playoffs hit, all revenue is the team's revenue.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but that would be...
An incentive?
An incentive, I would think, to try to, make the playoffs, because, well, now you get to put butts in the seats for another 2-3 weeks, months, maybe,
right.
If your team goes on a run.
You get more press, you get more people buying, jerseys or whatever.
You get more people coming in concessions because now you're hosting games.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's June, or it's May, or it's...
You got 2 more months of
see what I'm saying,
proceeds,
though?
you know what I mean?
So, and all that stuff goes directly to the teams. It doesn't have to be shared or anything like that. So, I mean, that's the sick part about it. Where you would think, hey, maybe we should try and do a little better. But here's what's... And the title of Lance's article, the title of the Hockey Writers Inc. show, that whole thing just basically says it right there in a nutshell. This team is not going to be bad enough to be
getting that
number 1 pick.
Right.
And it's not going to be good enough to make it to the playoffs.
Even if we did get the number 1 pick, we'd ruin him and he'd have a horrible career.
No.
Or,
If we had the number 1 pick, we would probably pick, somebody other than Bednar or something that nobody ever heard of, that
right.
was never anybody on anybody's radar, nobody that we've even heard of. I mean, you know what I mean? It'll be like, wait a minute!
Because it makes absolutely no sense. It's the perfect decision.
Yeah, right. My whole problem is that I just don't trust the current leadership with mid-season moves. I haven't trusted. The only thing that they've done right, the only thing that they've luckily gotten, was Tortorella.
And you were not a fan of that pick for a long time.
You're right. But he all but fell into their lap. He's not even expensive.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is completely off topic.
We love those.
Because,
we don't study rhetoricals.
How do you feel about the Bruce... I can't say his last name. Bruce situation.
Bruce. Okay, for those of you listening, and just in case you're wondering, it's Bruce Boudreau.
Thank you.
Okay, right? He used to coach the Vancouver Canucks. Just in case you are all wondering how to pronounce that or enunciate that.
Sorry, that's why I stopped and said no.
It is a respect nod to the indigenous personnel or indigenous people of Canada.
What, the Canucks?
Canucks.
Okay.
Okay, well, I had to have that explained to me. I had no idea. Like, what's that?
Was that Perlo?
Yeah, right?
Pearl of Wisdom?
The Pearl of Wisdom, right? Got to go check out the Pearl of Wisdom, man. He's got the line on everything going. The B-Pal picks, man, you got to go check that out for sure. And he was just on with the great Peyton on the radio, and they were just doing the game the other night, too, with because they're big Edmonton guys, so he's always doing the Edmonton games.
Right.
But, you got to go check those guys out, man, because they're awesome sauce, man. And Perlo's got the line on everything, so you got to go check him out, B-Pal Picks. Or you got to check him out at Perlo Wisdom on YouTube, or you can check him out on the SteelFlyers.com website /link/Perlo Wisdom. So check it out.
Nice little ad we got in there, isn't it?
And then it's like I do this for a living or something. Anyway, but so in the end, or to this point where the team is right now, they're just barely over, or are they at 500? The last I checked, they were 20. Yeah, I guess they are. They're 2019 and.
So they're close.
7 or something like that, or whatever, right? So they're either one tick over 500 or one tick below 500, whatever.
Right.
Does it really matter? Does it really matter? There's still,
half the season, isn't there?
Well, they're still, last in the division.
Oh, I thought you meant time-wise.
Yeah, there's still 38, 39 games left, something like that. We're just, we've approached halfway, and we're, right there at halfway, and...
So, the Canucks have decided that Bruce Boudreau could be replaced by...
Rick Tocchet.
Does anyone think this is a good idea? I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone, but I'm sorry.
Apparently Vancouver does, because they're the ones that did it.
But seriously...
And the whole... look, whatever is whatever it is. And to me, I quite frankly think that it's kind of a wrong dippy move, because you brought in Bruce to turn the team around. He did turn the team around. Then you signed him to a 3-year contract. And then you say, no, don't want you.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right? Why would you sign him to a 3-year contract then? Why? I don't get it.
He's only been there 2 years?
No, he came in there halfway through the year last year.
So it's not even almost...
He's barely been there a calendar year.
How do you judge... In this sport, in this business...
Yeah.
How can you judge how well a person's doing when you haven't given him time to at least
fully do what they need to do.
Right. I mean, it's gotta be a process, right? Am I wrong? Like, you gotta get some better players, you gotta get, some things moved around, and that takes a little time, right?
Well, I don't think if Bruce wants to be in hockey, I think he's going to find a job quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure he's already gotten 500,000 phone calls going, Hey,
buddy! Bruce, buddy, what are you doing? So, you want to be coach, huh? Right now there's no NHL teams that are looking for a coach at the moment. But yeah, and you give it some time and there will be some, I'm sure.
I'm sure the Ducks might be looking for one.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned that's one of the teams I think would be a great place for Bruce. Because let me tell you something, the Anaheim Ducks have got a huge plethora of young up-and-coming talent there that are on the cusp. Right? And they just need a new culture there.
That could be interesting.
Right. They need a new goaltender. Gibson needs to go. He needs a change of scenery. But they just need a new coach there. And I think Bruce would be a great coach there in Anaheim. That would be... Oh, my gosh, man. With that plethora of kids that he would be able to pluck from. Look at that. We're not even talking about the Flyers.
I know. One more tangent, and then we can go back to the Flyers. Because I read this somewhere today.
Well,
somebody who's kind of fed up with the Canucks and the whole situation, he says, I'm going to go watch the Kraken. How interesting that they're doing so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you asked me this question the other day, and a lot of people are looking at, well, why couldn't Dave Hackstall be that type of a coach for Philadelphia? There was a lot of things that were part of what happened when he was brought in as coach. Well, some of it was not his doing. Some of it was his doing. The 28 goaltenders that he had to play with for his 3.5 years.
No, it wasn't 28. It was 18 or something.
Sorry, 18. The 18 goaltenders he had to play with, 8 in one season, that he had to play with. Without having a good, solid starting goaltender, you're never gonna be successful unless you have somebody that's gonna be that. And I haven't really watched enough of the Seattle games to know, but the man didn't know how to put a line together to save his life. And then once he did find a line that was good, he would move it and never keep it together. Right? In this day and age in the NHL, you need to have a group of guys that all play well together. And those all group of guys need to stay playing well together. But there's a reason why you see those stupid commercials with Backstrom and Ovechkin. Why? They play on the same line. Why?
Is that the one with the cereal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Okay. But you get what I'm saying, though. It's like, okay.
Anyway, I'm sorry for the tangents. I just wanted to bring in some other...
I'm assuming that he has learned his lesson and is sticking with lines that are staying together, because it seems like that's what I'm hearing. That guys are staying on this. Guys are staying on the same lines, playing together, feeding off of each other. That's what happens. You see, Dave, this is what happens when you keep lines together that have chemistry and everything, right? You don't play it for 3 or 4 games and then go, oh, it's great, it's doing great. Oh, let's break them up.
Wait, I have another question.
No.
This is a quick one, I promise.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the Flyers, since I've been watching the Flyers, how many... Okay, I will have to do some research on this, but I was thinking about how many coaches we've had and how many have gone on to success with other teams. I'm going to have to look that up.
How many coaches have the Flyers had?
Right, they were the Flyers coach. Flyers did horrible, so that they got fired.
Well... and
they moved on to another team and had great success.
Okay, so Greg Berube is one that used to coach the Flyers, went on to coach St. Louis and won a Stanley Cup.
Well, there's one.
So that's one. Not only was he an ex-coach, he was an ex-player. So, and there were multiple ex-players on St. Louis at the time that they won the Stanley Cup. Shen brothers being right on the so it's like.
So I think it goes to the point that we do get players and we do get good coaches. The Flyers get this talent, but it always seems to stall out. Or is that wrong?
Or they don't continue to build on it, or they don't build around it. Like they go, okay, we got those one or two pieces, and then that's it. No, see, you need to be able to hang two or three. Look, this is how it's going to always be. As long as Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin are in Pittsburgh, that team is going to be relevant. And those are two people that you can hang from the side of the building, and they put butts in the seats.
Right.
And Edmonton with Draisaitl and McDavid.
Right.
Right? And other teams are building that tandem or group of players. Like, if you look at Tampa Bay, they've got like 3 or 4 guys they can hang from the...
Right, those marquee players that are going to get you the points.
You said the word marquee
ding, ding,
player. Ding, ding. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the word of the day. Tell her what she's won, Johnny. You've won an all-expense-paid trip to happiness. All right. But that's just it. Marquee players. You need to be able to have guys that you can hang from the side of the building that's going to sell jerseys, that's going to be like, man, I can't wait to go to the Flyers because such and such is playing.
Not because I want to see Gritty.
Right. Now, I'm going to tell you something here, folks. Be on the lookout for the end of this season for a certain Cutter Gauthier, who will more than likely, after finishing up his season in Boston, will be floating on into the NHL Flyers roster. I have a quaint feeling that's going to happen once that season's over.
That would be cool.
I have a feeling that's going to be a once and done. I think he will be part of the team next year.
Okay.
Yep. I think he's going to get an off season, a summer, gonna build up, get bigger, bulk up, whatever you got to do. Follow the Joel Farabee line of thinking and do whatever you got to do to come back in and be ready to rock, because Tortorella's gonna work you.
Right.
You know, and I'm looking very, very forward to Cutter coming to the Flyers next year. I really am. I think he's gonna be that. He's going to be one of those players for us, for the Flyers, that will be, has all the tools. He's got the size. He doesn't need to like grow into the, you know what I mean. He's already 6'2" and 200 pounds, and all right. Good gravy. Hey, there you go. Are you taking notes, Uncle Chuck?
Okay.
Speaking of which, hey, how about that special teams on for the Flyers?
Let's just go on to the Phantoms.
Well, how about them special teams for the Flyers, man?
What special teams?
We brought in a coach specifically to coach the special teams, and they're not any better.
Aren't they worse?
No, they're the same. They're the same exact percentage point that they were last year. They're exactly what they are this year.
Well, it didn't get worse. Yay!
Well, the coach that was brought in only had a 14.6 winning percentage in
Yeah, we know it was not a good decision. It didn't help our team any.
Yeah.
It didn't do what they wanted, and it doesn't make any sense.
So clearly you can tell when the Flyers are outmatched when they play against teams like Boston or Toronto or
The Jets.
the Jets clearly, and or Tampa Bay, or any of the teams out there that have marquee players and talent. The fact that Hayes is the all-star selection for the Flyers tells you everything you need to know. And with that, folks, we're going to take a quick little break from a word from our sponsor. Support for the SteelFlyers All Sports Network and SteelFlyers.com is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. That's 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code SteelFlyers at Manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 14 million balls. The Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0, this trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say the greatest ball trimmer ever? The 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4000K LED spotlight in case you need a more precise shave. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming even to the next level? Well, the Performance Package 4.0 also comes with the Weed Whacker nose, ear, and hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. Their Crop Preserver ball deodorant and Crop Reviver ball toner will change the way you approach the hygiene routine. Trust me when I say this, fellas, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts for their Performance Package 4.0. The Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort in boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself to go to themanscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SteelFlyers. That's right, folks. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SteelFlyers at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped.com. Use the code SteelFlyers. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And with that, let's go on to exactly what you said before. How about them Phantoms?
Yeah.
Right? Phantoms are climbing the standings. They were down at the bottom there, right? The Phantoms are the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, and
Aren't they on a 3-game win streak?
3-game win streaks, right? So congratulations to them. They're going to be facing off here against Wilkes-Barre, the hated rivals, the Baby Pens is what they're called here. I believe tomorrow night is that game, and but they're 14-5 for 43 points and 5th in the Atlantic Division, with 34 games left. And as Rooney's stated previously, they are on a 3-game win streak, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, they are 5-3-2 in their last 10 games. So, man, that's that. They've been starting to put some games together. It's amazing that some of the injuries and some of the players have been coming back to the Phantoms.
Yeah, it's hard to have a successful.
Now they're getting better. Yeah, right. So it's like
they're getting their goalie back, aren't they?
Errsson, yeah. So that's the other thing too, right? So he returns, and he returns with a win, right? So that's a good way to return.
Wait a second. So Errsson goes to the Phantoms and gets a win. Sanderson comes to the Flyers and we get trounced.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There's something wrong there.
Yeah. Yeah. You could have waited 1 more day, 2 more days, whatever.
Not that it may have not made a difference. I just thought
they may not have been able to wait. They may have had to make the move because of whatever the waiver rules, wires, and whatever all that stuff is. But. But the Phantoms are climbing ever so slowly. There's 34 games left, so if they go on a little run,
they might have a good chance.
They might have a chance of making the playoffs, so that would be good to see them do that. We've already spoken about how I feel about the fact that Ian LePerriere is coaching the Phantoms, and he's not using the same system that John Tortorella is using for the Flyers. I have a major issue with that, but, hey, that's a discussion for another show. Congratulations to Cal O'Reilly. 700 points for the AHL. That's a pretty big feat there, man. 700 points, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Goals and assists. So, but that's an AHL career right there.
That's good.
Okay, yeah, that's good, but congratulations on 700 points in the AHL. Okay? And just as you said before, Errsson returns to the team and stays good. You know what I mean? And we're liking that. I have to be honest with you. I think he's the second best. He probably, quite honestly, he's making the saves that Carter Hart ain't. And he has a shutout so far this year, and Carter Hart don't.
There's been a couple close ones, but he always lets that one goal in.
Right. And Errsson isn't letting that one goal in for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's the conundrum. Because, he might be the second best goalie in the room, so that would automatically slate him in as the backup for Carter Hart.
Right.
Which, okay, doesn't get you playing every night or most nights or whatever. That gets you playing on the back-to-backs and everything else like that. So it would be better for him to be at the Phantoms so that he can be being the number one goalie at the Phantoms.
He gets more play time.
Right. See? I mean, look, it's not rocket science here, people. You just got to be able to... This is how things have to go in order for the Flyers to keep all of these goalies. This is how things have to go.
Yeah.
And I do not think that giving up Errsson is the ideal thing to do right now. And I also think that getting rid of Sandstome is not the ideal thing to do right now either, because it allows the Flyers to keep Errsson.
Yeah.
At the trade deadline, or if there's any kind of deal out there, Chuck, you got to do something, man, because the goaltending room for the Flyers is really bad. And it didn't get any better in this past offseason. It went downhill.
Right.
We got rid of a pretty good, decent backup goaltender, that wasn't making a whole crap load of money, just walked away. And we got what we got right now. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, way to go. No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to.
So, let's take a little trip up the turnpike.
Up the turnpike?
And stop off before we get to Canada.
Let's take a little trip.
Take a little trip. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're going to take a little trip up the turnpike before we get to Canada. We're going to stop off in a little town, Pittsburgh.
Why? Why would you keep Matt Canada? I understand towards the end of the season we were doing better, but how can you justify keeping this person who the first half of the season we were atrocious? I mean, it was bad.
I've noticed a trend. Any offensive coordinator that comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Pittsburgh dad tries to get a petition.
Is ostracized. Is very, very, very quickly is their head is asked for. Very quickly.
By the management or by the fans?
By the fans. By the nation. You know who I'm talking about, Yinzers. And for the most part, Look, Randy Fichtner was way over his head. He should have never have even been an OC.
Right, but see, I don't understand why they just took Canada and moved him up. He was working under Fichtner, correct?
Okay, so he was brought in as the heir apparent.
Okay.
Okay, so, and it came, I think, a mite too soon. But what are you going to do? You're going to keep Fichtner, or are you going to give the kid a shot? This kid had a college experience. You know what I mean? With running offenses. Say what you will, Steeler Nation, but I have serious doubts about this coach. I am not really...
Who? Matt Canada?
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to how this team, who has some talent on offense.
Yeah, we saw that towards the end of the season. It started to really kind of click.
So, here's going to be the thing now. Okay? This is Matt Canada's third year. Be.
We've made it to the playoffs twice? Once.
Uno. And that was with Ben.
And a wild card. So he got
Ben's last year.
Right.
Right? And then we got housed.
Right.
In the first round. Right? In the wild card weekend got housed. And then this year we didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
And now next season, will be Canada's third as offensive coordinator. So, all right. Got to give everybody a chance, right? You got to give everybody a shot. Got to give everybody an opportunity. Rookie quarterback, okay. Lots of other rookies on the team with Pickens and some of the offensive line. Even the tight ends. There's a rookie with Hayward emerged finally, but only, second year running back, second year tight end, and Freiermuth and Najee. Rookie quarterback, and even Trubisky has only been in the league for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he had this huge veteran group of guys that were marching out on the field with.
I know, but there were some bad decisions made.
Mm-hmm. I want this man to go to referee school.
To learn what a penalty actually is?
No. He knows what a penalty is.
No, you know what I mean. Like
I want him to go to referee school so that they can show him what a ineligible man downfield penalty is, so that he can do the exact opposite of what that is and coach that and put that in his plans. I need him to go to referee school so that he can learn what a false start penalty is and how to teach his guys to stay still until you see the ball snapped. I mean, that's basic.
I know.
Right? I mean, I am not kidding you. Look, I played for 10 years. And the cool thing is that I played center, so I always had my hand on the ball.
You knew when the ball was snapped?
I knew when the ball was snapped because I was the one snapping it. But when you play on defense, right, you have no idea when they're going to snap the ball, right? You have to, when you see the center move his hand, you got to fly. So guess where you need to be looking?
At his hands.
At the ball. Okay? Once you get set where you're going to be, you need to be looking at the ball so that you can move when the ball's snapped.
Okay.
And clearly the Steelers' offense do not know what it means to be set, to be in the right position on the line, to not break the rules, to not create an ineligible man downfield, to not create holding penalties or anything else like that.
We got killed on holding this year.
I'm also going to tell you this, okay? For the first 11 games, the Steelers averaged, are you ready for this?
Always.
4.6
penalty.
Illegal man downfield penalties per game. Per game!
Yeah.
Now, that sounds to me like a major coaching issue.
Yeah. If you see your team is doing something incorrectly, you correct it. And then they don't keep making that mistake. Isn't that the basis of coaching?
You know.
Here's how to do it. Do it right. If you do it wrong, show them how to do it right again.
Right, you know, so.
Till they stop doing it wrong.
Okay. So this is how you're going to swing, huh? All right. Well, then no excuses. Right?
Next year?
Next year, no excuses. Then this better be the honkinest, and that's a technical term, most fly. I better see multiple plays a game that are over 20 yards. I better see wide receivers catching the football for touchdowns. I better see running backs running the ball. I better see the offensive line blocking.
Yeah.
I better see Kenny Pickett throwing more than 6 or 7 touchdown passes in the whole season.
Okay. That's a checklist.
No excuses.
Right.
Let's go. Right? This team better win the frickin' division.
Or at least
No.
be in the playoffs.
No. Win the division. Right? You're bringing this Canada back. So what?
So here's a question for you. We've talked about Matt Canada. Who's leaving? Who will not be on the team next year, do you think?
Hopefully not Devin Bush.
Okay.
Right? I don't know yet. There's going to be guys that are going to come and go that I have no idea who's.
Is there any? You think Devin Bush is the biggest one?
I'm pretty sure. I know that Devin Bush is going to probably be the biggest one. Probably some of those linebackers. You know what I mean? If we can keep Miles Jack, or if we can, that would be great if we could keep him. You know what I mean? If we can keep Kazi, that would be great if we could keep them. You know what I'm saying? It would be, it would be nice to be able to keep some of these guys. For the most part, most of the guys are under contract anyway, so.
Okay.
There's not that many guys going, really, for the most part anyway. So, well, my concern is going to be the draft for the Steelers.
That was going to be my next question. I mean, we'll get into that more when we get closer, but...
Right, but see, here's the thing, though, okay? And this is kind of where you need to start thinking about this kind of stuff right now, because in the next couple of weeks, you're going to start having... Well, you're already going to start having Senior Bowl games and All-Star games and things of that nature. Then you're going to have the Combine. It's going to happen not long after the Super Bowl is the Combine. Then you're going to have pro days where you're going to have, all these schools will allow their athletes and then have workouts where the pros their scouts can come and go to the schools and watch the kids practice or whatever. Then you're going to have the draft, okay, which is going to be in April. So that's not that far away. And Pittsburgh has an opportunity in the draft this year to get a really, really good player, and they may or may not have to potentially trade up.
Do you think they'll have that ability? And will they do something smart with it, or are they just going to throw it away?
So, the going theory right now is that Pittsburgh won't trade up and that they will be able to pick at 17th.
Okay.
And that player that most people right now that I see pointing to Pittsburgh could potentially be available.
And what player is that?
And this is somebody that I would actually be very ecstatic about.
Okay.
That would be Joey Porter
Jr. That would be... He did well at Penn State. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, we like Penn State.
Well, we got a chance to watch him play.
Yeah.
For the last 3 years.
Right.
Right? So, he is one of the country's premier cover cornerbacks. And here's the thing. In college. So you say, yeah, he's one of the most, he's one of the nation's premier cover cornerbacks / in college.
Right. There's always that parenthesis.
Right. So, okay, we've seen his weaknesses. We've seen his strengths. Okay? The guy's a hitter. Likes to hit. Right? He is really, really good at the combat catching. He's really good at getting to the point of the highest point of the ball. So that means he's going to win those combat catches more so than the receiver is because he's getting to the highest point of the ball.
Right.
He's getting there better. He's in better position. You know what I mean? He also has the physical tools.
Right.
Okay? The size. He's over 6 feet. He's over 200.
Right.
Hey, a cornerback that's over 6 feet and over 200 pounds. And hey, what do you know? I bet you could coach him up. Wouldn't that be a nice addition to this edition?
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to get some flack from the great 5-star matchup, but he really thinks that the Steelers should take a wide receiver with their first-round draft pick, and I completely and utterly disagree. I think they should go with Joey Porter Jr. Or a trade up to get a top-flight cornerback or whatever you got to do.
We'll see what they do. I mean, they don't always do things that make sense. So.
Right. I also think that they need to get an offensive tackle in the draft because they need some depth for one, and they need a tackle bad, and maybe defensive line should be because Pittsburgh's got quite a lot of picks in the first.
Well, yeah, because we made a lot of trades, did we not? To get those?
The one trade gave us the number 32nd pick, which in essence is a first-round pick. So we get the first pick of the second day. Okay. Yay. Well, that's like getting the first-round pick. Period, because of the 32 guys or 31 guys that didn't go in the first day. Mm-hmm. You have that whole pool of guys to go, And
you got some time to think about it because it's the next day.
You got a whole day or a whole night to think about who it is.
That's a good point.
Right? So you better hit on that.
Right.
Okay? And so that is a very serious draft commodity. Is that pick right there. Mm-hmm. A lot of times a really good player will come from that pick.
Okay.
Anywhere from the late first round to the early second round, a good portion of the starters come from those rounds. Yeah. Yeah. In the draft, or from the draft, but a good portion of the starters that are playing in the NFL right now are from those. Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
It's only midwinter, but young men's dreams turn to engines coming soon.
Oh, yeah, buddy. The new rules are going to take more effect.
We're talking about F1, by the way.
Yes. And soon cars will be released, as in Valentine's Day.
A nice new red Ferrari on Valentine's Day. What a present.
What a present. And I'm here to tell you what, folks. I have high expectations for the Ferraris this year. There's going to be some new faces on new teams, right?
Right.
So you're going to see some teams moved from McLaren, and teams moved from Aston Martin, and then you also saw, Sebastian Vettel retired.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but the main at the top are going to remain Hamilton and Russell for Mercedes. You're going to see Leclerc and Sainz for Ferrari, and you're going to see Verstappen and
Bottas? No. Sorry.
Perez.
That's right. I was trying going through the list. Sorry.
Sergio Perez. Yeah, and you'll see them with Red Bull. But I really think that the Ferrari, they've made a management change.
Maybe they can make sure that because Ferrari had a lot of technical issues last year.
No, they had a lot of team issues last year, like pit stops and strategies and pit stop. I only follow the Ferrari.
Sorry, we're having a Disney Cars moment.
That's okay, because what an awesome tribute they did to one of the greatest of all time, Michael Schumacher. By the way, hashtag Michael Schumacher, or fight on, or fight Michael Schumacher, or whatever his.
Gotcha.
Man, he was the man that turned me into a Formula One fan. He was the man that laid the foundation for my tifosi.
Yeah.
When he starred on Top Gear,
and he took off the stick mask.
That was the best ever moment on TV. When he said, well, so be it. If it's on your own, remove your helmet. Remove your helmet!
I love the bit at the end, though, where they had him driving and he couldn't drive at all. And
he was lost, right? Yeah. And driving all over the place, wrecking the car, you know what I mean?
Okay. So, Formula One this year, 3 races in the U.S.
Yeah, how about that? This is going to be the first time ever that the United States is going to host 3 races. We did not see the track, the Las Vegas track, last season, but we did see the Miami track that was held at the Hard Rock Cafe circuit down there in Miami. So that was a really cool track, and we did obviously COTA in Austin, the Circuit of the Americas. Great track, and now we're going to see a street circuit come from the Las Vegas, and I'm going to be highly excited about this. The fact that there is now 5 races in North America.
Wow. Because there's 1 in Mexico.
Right.
2 in Canada then.
1 in Canada.
1 in Canada. Yeah, okay, so that's 5. All right. I can't count, apparently.
Well, there is only 1 in Canada.
There's 1 in Canada, there's 3
1 in Mexico, and now there's 3 in the United States, and that's 5 in North America.
Yeah, I just counted wrong.
Okay, so at least that gives them more of a reason to stay on this side of the planet.
Right.
Logistically. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope they do that whole swing where they do, Canada, Mexico, then they do maybe Miami, then Las Vegas, and then Austin.
Well, see, no,
you have to do Austin much later in the year
because of the weather.
Yeah, and
you're going to have the same thing with Las Vegas too.
Right, and even the same thing kind of too with Miami, because now you have to make sure you know what I mean, because right. It'll get like sometimes Spa can get hot, sometimes Spain, Catalunya can get really hot. I mean, there's times where tracks can get really, really hot, you know what I mean? So they're trying to maximize the minimized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's try not to burn their let's try not to soak or burn their heads off. You know what I mean? So, but be looking for the cars to be released here in February. I think some of the teams will be late January, or I believe most of all the teams are all early February, but I'm pretty sure that the Ferrari is going to be Valentine's Day. So, last thing I want to talk about, and that's this, and that is the championship weekend.
Yes, go Eagles!
So the Philadelphia Eagles are going to go up against San Francisco 49ers for the NFC, and the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go up against Kansas City for the AFC to see who goes to the big dance.
So you know what everybody's saying right now, right?
Well,
about this possible matchup.
Well, here's an interesting fact for you. All right, I bet you've already seen this or read this. Okay, how's this for you? It doesn't matter who makes it to the Super Bowl, and it doesn't matter who wins. An ex-Steeler will get a Super Bowl ring.
Because there's an ex-Steeler on all four of those teams?
That's correct.
Oh, there you go. I did not hear that one. That's awesome.
Okay, so you got Javon Hargrave on the Eagles.
Le'Veon Bell is on the...
No, not Le'Veon Bell. I forget who all the players are, right? But I know that Javon Hargrave and Mike Hilton plays for Cincinnati.
Okay.
Right, and I forget who. Juju Smith-Schuster.
That's
on
who
Kansas
I'm thinking
City.
of. You're right. Okay, yeah,
right?
I'm sorry.
And, who's on it for San Francisco?
I don't know
I can't remember who it is for San Francisco. Oh, it's Boza.
Okay.
Right, who played for us last year, Joey Boza.
Okay.
Right, a linebacker.
So somebody that used to play for the Steelers is getting a Super Bowl ring this year.
Somewhere, somehow, some way, yes.
Awesome.
You know who I hope it is?
Juju?
Yes.
I hope so too.
I really think that the Eagles have a good team, but I'm going to be straight up, and I think that even if they played Kansas City, I think Kansas City. Now, here's going to be the key. Mahomes is hurt.
Well, so is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but not like Mahomes. Mahomes has a confirmed high ankle sprain. Okay? And I mean...
Hey, anything can happen. We don't know what's going to happen.
So that's what's going on there with that, right? So both teams have some guys going in hurt. You know, Philly has guys going in hurt. Kansas City has guys going in hurt. Everybody has everybody going in hurt. So you're going to see Burrow against a hobbling Mahomes, right? And you're going to see Purdy against Jalen Hurts. All right.
So they're not getting back. I mean, they're still not going to have their quarterback back.
They're
in
saying
San Francisco?
they're saying that Garoppolo might be available if they make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay. How didn't it?
So
isn't that what happened with the Eagles, where
Nick
Foles played most of the year?
Yeah, because Carson Wentz was.
And then Carson Wentz came in and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Something like that, or he came in halfway through the playoffs.
Well, no, he got hurt like, he had to play the last game of the season, then he had to play the playoff games, and then he had to play the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Right. So, but yeah, that's kind of how that went too. You know, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
But you made an interesting point about that when you said that that's what you mean when you say you have a good backup quarterback, somebody who's going to win you those games when your other quarterback is out. You need somebody who can carry that load, not just be there to hand the ball off.
Well, but and little did they realize that those 3 games that the backup quarterback has to win is the divisional and championship game of the playoffs. No pressure. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, man, looking forward to that. That's coming up this weekend. The Flyers are playing hockey. Yeah, they're playing hockey. Okay, Tortorella has his team. They're a tough team to play against to some extent, but you can clearly tell when they are out talented.
Yes. I got what you mean. And I think if Tortorella gets, some more time in there, he might be able to bring along some more players, because we've seen a lot of players that are doing much better under Tortorella, so maybe...
Agreed. And more younger players to play around with those guys.
Yeah.
To come in and play. So, all for that for too. Well, folks, I think that's going to wrap us up here. We would like to say a huge thank you to Ronies.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, thank you for being here. A big, huge thank you to Spreaker. Go to Spreaker.com and get, all your podcasting needs and everything you need to do over there. And then, big thank you to Manscaped.com. Big thank you to them for sponsoring the show. And go to Manscaped.com and type in SteelFlyers in the promo code and get 20% off. So thank you all very much for checking us out and watching the show. You can follow me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52, and you can check us out on the web at SteelFlyers.com. Just remember, folks, stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.